Okay, here we go. We got a Terran versus Terran. Uh, Probably my least favorite matchup, but playing it nonetheless. We're both like around mid 2500 MMR here, so yeah, I don't know. I like switching it up. So Terran versus Terran's really tricky, just because I feel like I'm locked into this certain type of build when I play them, because you know, I got to have something at home in case for when the Reaper comes, like a little after 2 or so minutes in the game. So here we're doing pretty much the same build. You first start off with the depot, and then your barracks, and then your gas. Put the 3 guys in the gas when it's all said and done, making SUVs this whole time. And then when this barrack gets done with the 3 guys, you put them in right away. You'll get about 50 gas, and you can make your Reaper right away to run over to their base. This is where we start to deviate. He's going with a gas, 2 gas opening, which is an indication of aggression. Where I'm kind of playing more standard. After this, I'm sending this guy down to mine here, and I'm looking to expand. So I got 150 minerals, orbital command right away, so I can get the mules going. He goes and he mines, and then I just hang out here until I get to 400, take my natural. He's bringing an SCV across, and I'm making my Reaper. Now I'm planning to run him over and see what kind of things I can do. I'm doing 2 Reapers. Get my second depot going. 2 Reapers just to get a little extra aggression. He comes in. He doesn't get the scout he's looking for. I see that as like, well, it's not going to be a shock to him that I might have a Reaper out the way I figure, so I might as well pick up a free unit. So far, on the units, we're just the same. I must have missed an SCV because I just killed one and we're tied at 19. And in fact, he just took me up on 20. So clearly with all this stuff getting this going, I missed building an SCV somewhere. So that's not too good. But here's the thing. So this is the tricky part. Like, I didn't know, like, well, will he jump up with Reapers here in a second? Sometimes people, particularly in Terran, just camp some Marines there, and then you jump up and you try to get a lucky kill. I assumed he was going to do the same thing, so I didn't want to go up this ramp, so I'd go right up through the front, and unfortunately, you'll see this goes pretty poorly for me, because he has, much to my surprise, 2 Reapers just waiting there. So I see he doesn't take a natural. It's like, okay, this is concerning. He's either proxying a base somewhere, or he's one-basing me. Now, I lose a Reaper, which stinks. I thought he might chase and just put on some pressure, but I know I'm getting one-based, or at least I'm taking my expansion for him, so I'm trying to build a bunker for safety. But this is the part where in Terran versus Terran where I've run into this a fair amount, is that, you know, you got to watch out for her. And I didn't scout it, but, you know, he's slow on taking his natural, but, like, he's going to come over with, like, a handful of Marines, couple tanks, maybe a medevac or Viking for high ground vision, and he's just going to win this engagement coming up here. Because you got, you know, it's siege tank versus siege tank, but he's going to have the air to be able to see further ahead. And then I can't really push into that. So right now my reaction to this kind of thing is to make Liberators, but then you have to, you know, fly the Liberator around hoping that it doesn't get caught by his Marines. I have 1 siege tank in my main base for safety. I thought a drop might be coming. I don't know. There's this fight coming right out in front of me. That siege tank's actually going to come in really handy, because he does something pretty sneaky here. Is he attacks from the front here, and he's planning on coming in with the Reapers, which I kind of like. I might steal that idea. Thankfully for me, so he has to hold up here. He can't go any further, but he's just going to start working away, and he's got high ground vision, but now he's going to think he can come in and steal a bunch of SCVs, but thankfully my tank right there took care of it. Realizing I didn't like what was going on here, I decided to hold up and hold the high ground here. Quickly select these guys here. Don't have them go back because they'll die, and so I'm just trying to fly the base over here. Now he sees this, and he reacts to it. I think this is where he made a mistake. I think he could have chased the base maybe with a single tank, but he takes his Marines too, leaving just a single siege tank, which when I get my Liberator out eventually, that's an easy pick off. So he's looking for my second base. He finds it. Right now, this is looking pretty bad for me, but I am actually, I don't know this, but I am up on workers because I took my natural sooner. I'm really pretty pleased that, see, my Liberator takes that out. I'm pretty pleased that this doesn't catch on fire, because if it had, then I don't know if I can even get a SCV to it to repair it. I guess it could drop mules. So I'm thinking I got a counter push here. If you look at his mini map, you see like all my blue dots going across, and I see that he sees me, so I should be a little bit more aware that this isn't exactly a surprise attack. What saves me here though is that I queued up using shift click this Liberator to go ahead and attack while I focus on this. So you'll see I'm not looking at the Liberator anymore. Instead, I'm too late in sieging these up, but the Liberator's doing its thing. And this is a really bad engagement for me. The only thing that makes it even is that Liberator doing its work. And if you'll notice, that Liberator, 10 kills, one of them is from the siege tank early on, and then other 9 SCVs. So let's see it from his perspective. So I mean, this might be game ending, this engagement's so bad for me, if it wasn't for the fact that I got this huge Liberator right here. Like, the more I kind of think about it in times, Liberators have won me the game. I don't know, maybe I just, for me, they're pretty great. Because it's, I mean, they take out an SV practically every second. So if he's 10 seconds slow or 5 seconds slow, you know, 5 seconds slow to respond to something, it's still, there's 5 SCVs, and it's just, that's just well worth it. So I mean, at this point, I'm up 33 to 21 on the SCV count. Of course, I don't know that, but I'm flying my natural eventually back over to here. And I'm trying to have my Cyclones out ahead to spot, because I'm assuming he's coming. I should have got a lock on there to take out those Vikings. But I know he's coming here, so trying to prepare, this time with 2 bunkers. I don't know how it's going to matter if I can't take care of the siege tanks out front. Maybe it's overkill, but yeah, here we go. This is kind of like that same thing again. I have to scan to get vision so my siege tank can see further. He doesn't have to scan because he can just use his Vikings to see further. I guess that's why you see in the high level play, a lot of times Terran versus Terran can be about who has air control. But I'm just repairing or taking hits, and I'm trying to think about what I can do to take care of this problem. He's still there. What am I doing? Am I making another Liberator, I take it? Yeah. So, and then this base, I'm flying it all the way over there to try to take, and hoping he doesn't spot it. I'm still up in workers, but like as far as the aggression and just like keeping me pinned in my base, feeling the pressure from that. So I'm hoping that I can fly over this dead space here and get these. Of course, the Vikings pretty much crush my Liberators, but I got enough of his army to where it's just the siege tank, no problem, and we chase it off. Let's fast forward a little bit through here. I'll be fast forwarding through this game. Now we're just kind of like in normal game as everybody's trying to expand. He's taking his third. I've got my third in a unusual spot, but he hasn't seen it yet. Here I'm just running individual unit around because I just want to see what he has. Couple mules, that's actually, I don't know, I think that's a pretty nice pickup. That's a lot of income that he just lost out on. So I got this Liberator over kind of this dead space, hoping to see his attack coming this time. I meant to send 2 Liberators, but realizing I actually have 3 on the same team, Team 2 here. And there's a point when they're going up. I want them to all siege at the same time, so that one that's up ahead, I got to pull him back, and let's do it again. So this time I didn't shift click, I just manually controlled them, and I'm just going to supply over everything. Let's see the counts. This one dies first, but this one gets to, these are all SCVs, mind you. 4 kills on that one, 5 kills on that one, 7, and sometimes some of these are Marines, but 8 kills. It's just still so well worth it. 30 SCVs to 54, and I've got another Liberator coming up top, so I'm controlling them, but this one I've already sent commands to go up, and he's already got commands to kind of come up, and you see here, and siege on here. So I no longer have to control him. He's got the sensor tower, so you should see it flying in, but you see the red dot there. He's just not looking at his mini-map. I do this all the time too. Just not enough awareness on the mini-map, because he's going to get notification. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Devastating. Like 9 SCVs down before he kills it. 29 to 57. Fast forward a little bit. Taking my base over here. Making that a planetary. Couple turrets. I'm trying to stay on the outskirts of his sensor there, trying to set up siege tank. I wish I would have had 2 or 3 here. That would have been more devastating. I have no idea. I know there's a base here, but one thing that was tough in this game for me is when you look at upgrades. He's on 1-1, and I only have armor upgrade, so even I'm trying to, I think I stemmed at some point during this. Relatively even attack, but I think he wins that. I backed off. Falling back. It's the tricky part when you see an engagement. If you feel like you're going to win or lose it, I mean, and that's the tough thing. Got to pull out of there. Yeah, because I think at one point in the upgrades on the Marines, he's well over me. But that's not till later. Still pretty massive SCV lead on my part. I really kind of, bases that are hard to defend, I usually like to make them planetary. This one I made orbital command, which is great for the income, but I thought like he could come in from the side here and it'd be so long by the time I get my army over there. I decided to make a secondary protection planetary, and then this base will be an orbital ideally. It's probably a little overkill, but better that than losing my base, or at least if he does attack it and I lose, I have a lot of time to get those SCVs out of there. But army supply, I'm only up on him a little bit. He's floating a ton of cash. He needs to get his production going. I just do some scans everywhere just so I can see what he's doing. I mainly did that because I hadn't seen in his base for a while, and I didn't want to be surprised. Like, oh, scan in there and find out he has like 10 BCs or something like that. So I thought the scans for the info was worth it. Meanwhile, I do transition to battle cruisers coming up here. See how I'm attacking one side and he's just like running his entire army over. So he's like F2ing. So if this wasn't a planetary, this would be and this is a somewhat bigger hit, this would be really nice strategy against people who F2 a lot. Is decent sized army on one side. When they run everybody over, decent sized army on the other side. You know, if that wasn't a planetary, or if I'm not taking on another Terran who can build planetaries, that's a good strategy. But that time I just didn't have a big enough force to really do much damage. This is unfortunate on my part that I couldn't even get to cancel. He finds it right as it finishes, so that's a bummer. He scans my base, so he sees this here. Got one siege tank there, and this is a fight that I think goes well on the first time ever in this game where a fight goes in my favor. So he's just looking to pick away at my planetary. I am trying to get a flank over here, and I want to get a good concave going here. Got a siege tank here, which is helpful. He scans to get those so he can see those. Want to get them out of there so I can bring them back. And that's huge. That's huge. And just maybe I just had numbers, but now I can bring these back in now that his scan's over. And coming off that win, hoping that's a lot of his army, I thought it's time to go push up into his base and try to do as much damage as I can. Unfortunately, I couldn't really get a good... I was hoping my I could do something more there, but the turrets were stopping me. This is good on his part, I think, if I remember right. So he sees this here. Rather than coming this way to fight it, he does a smart thing and flanks me from this side over here to get in on my siege tanks. I happen to retreat back, and so the fight's not terrible for me, but he does win that pretty convincingly. And this was a misclick on my part. I was trying to warp my BC over here, but I think I just hit the wrong button. I was wondering why it wasn't popping over. Well, it's because it never teleported, so I end up losing that. And and he knows that I have BCs now, so that's a rough one. But teleported BC over here, and I just make sure I keep it out of the range of the turrets. I'm just looking to skirt the outside and pick up anything I can. So this is a mistake he makes on his part. He thought the Vikings have better range, so they can kite the BC and win, but he took his eye off it, and he didn't realize that I turned around to fight these. If he's like kiting back and shooting, he'll, you know, my BC's gonna die, but I think he just went on to other things. And this BC, while low hit points, goes on to do, you know, pretty nice little damage, still going. And he now has to spend time focusing, trying to take it out. And I'm just trying to skirt the areas that he can't really get to. Yeah, he's caught up a little bit on SCVs. He's still trailing me by 12. And here by now I have enough BCs to where I kind of want to start the strategy of have my BCs annoy on one side of the map and then do send the rest of my army on the other side of the map. And then just, you know, try to see how many spots he can try to get at once or try to defend at once. So he should be reacting to those 3 dots coming in. I don't know if he sees it now, but there's just not much to do about it. Once again, because I know I can't get in because it's too close, I'm just trying to pick up anything free. So I see, all right, that's trouble, gonna die, time to get out, go home, get good efficiency. And start repairing those up and just wash, rinse, repeat. Oh, he's pushing with everything he has. I wish I would have been a little bit quicker on repairing that planetary. I could have hurt him more. And this fight looks like it's going to go in his favor. He's got a better concave, but I mean, it's just, I've got an okay sized army, but the thing is, I got like, what's that, 6 BCs? So, yeah. And a lot of those are Marauders, so they can't shoot up at my BCs, so that helps too. I mean, at this point, the BC count's starting to get out of control, so I mean, he's going to either need mass Vikings or I don't know. He's kind of low on money. I, again, need to spend my money. Right now, I'm just continuing to make BCs, and I've got, like, let's see, trying to make as many Marines as I can in the meantime. Now just flying around. At some point, I'm in the top right corner, and then I will do select all army and have them hit on the left side of the base, which will pull my BCs over, but I'm right here to just keep them on this right-hand side. I'll show you. So it's coming up right here. I'm attacking. He's focusing on that, but I've got some of my other army coming up here too. So once again, just trying to stay in these areas that's hard for him to get to. See, I have right here. And at this point, yeah, make that planetary, drop some mules. And I'm just hoping he just starts to run out of money at some point. So like right here, I just gave the command you see on the mini-map to everybody attack there. My BCs came in for a second, grab them, just keep them over here because I don't want them to fly across the map. Obviously, they'd get killed. But now I kind of have the hitting on both sides at once thing going on. I'm not going to even look at this fight going on this side over here. This is just all a move. See, as I'm focusing on this, he's obviously trying to repair his BC in time. I need to like move these guys in closer so that they all can shoot. They're kind of getting in each other's way. Here I finally look over here and see I'm not going to break this planetary, so I'm trying to target the individual SCVs, get as many as I can. And when he's down to 38 minerals, I think he realizes that he just can't do anything to stop it. So that was it. A good game.